My Social Studies Philosophy by Michelene Mountjoy. As a teacher candidate in their first year of Teachers College, I have had the opportunity to have placements and jobs that have given me some experience in the field of education. I started my education journey by teaching dance classes in my hometown. I have done this for 8 years now, and it has gained me the experience of being a teacher in general and working with children of all ages. While this benefited me in many ways, it didn't directly connect to social studies. When I was in college for early childhood education, I had placements where I worked at a daycare and in a kindergarten classroom. Focus on social studies is usually not implemented with those age groups, but the process of inquiry is always there. Making connections is a big part in the development of younger children, and what they can connect most to usually is their family. In grade 2, they start talking about their family and traditions. And with open discussion in their younger years, they can be ready to learn more in the future on those topics when they are exposed to those connections that are fostered by early childhood educators such as myself. Once I began university, I was exposed to experiences that involved older children. I worked at a daycare for 2 summers where I worked in the school age room, and then I had my first practicum in a grade 4 class this past January. While at the daycare, I implemented social studies-like activities, including an exploration of Canada and the importance of recycling. We also always have discussions around families and acknowledge diversity and traditions in the classroom. In my experience with my practicum in a grade 4 classroom, I didn't teach social studies, but observed my associate teacher implementing it. In grade 4, they are learning about political and physical regions of Canada, and while I was there in January, they were working individually on making brochures for the different provinces. Each student had a province they had to research and collect information on to make their brochure. While I don't have a lot of experience with social studies, I am looking forward to incorporating the subject into my future class with the knowledge from our social studies course and the future experiences I will have in year 2. In reference to Grade 2 Heritage and Identity, Changing Family and Community Traditions in the Ontario Social Studies curriculum, I would have a plan on how I would physically set up my classroom for that unit. The first thing that I would consider is the placement of desks in the classroom. I would have the students' desks and groups in a square-like shape to encourage discussion, sharing of ideas, and collaboration. This can also help promote inquiry within the classroom by keeping students engaged in aspects of communication throughout the inquiry process as they ask questions, organize and analyze information, and critically evaluate their findings. I think that having the desks organized this way benefits students and creates a positive learning space in the classroom. In my classroom, I want to have a space dedicated to social studies. This space may have a bookshelf or cubbies to place items in. I would like to introduce a variety of literature focused on social studies. Specifically relating to Grade 2 Heritage and Identity, I might have books on families including diverse family backgrounds. Books on traditions will also be included. Physical materials of artifacts I have collected relating to social studies will also be displayed for exploration with magnifying glasses. Other items in this social studies space can include maps, atlases, and spare paper to jot down thoughts and ideas. I want to also have a CD player with headphones to play CDs following along with certain books to include students who prefer auditory learning. Lastly, my classroom will have plenty of wall space to showcase student learning and information. Creating a family tree might be one of the tasks I give to students in the Heritage and Identity unit. Activities like these will be displayed for everyone to see and learn from. It is also important to remember that while having posters and students' work on walls are great for the classroom, making sure that the display is appealing to the eye and not chaotic makes the classroom feel relaxed, inviting, and not overwhelming. Other things I might include on the walls are a map of the world and Canada, a word wall having words and definitions relating to topics we are learning about, such as family and traditions, and pictures of places and people in history. When implementing the unit of heritage and identity, changing family and community traditions, I want to create a cumulative task that will bring what my students have learned throughout the unit together. The task they would have to do is to complete a family heritage flipbook. In this activity, the students will gain a better understanding of their family heritage and traditions by doing research on themselves and their backgrounds in their family. This task will require at-home help to complete. In the flipbook, students will describe their family and who they live with in their house, provide information on a religious or cultural group in their community, place on a map where their parents, grandparents, and themselves were born on a map, and elaborate on traditions and celebrations they have in their family. Lastly, they will fill out their family tree with 3 generations on it using pictures or drawings of their choice. When the students are finished with their flipbook, a rubric will be used to grade the finished product. This task is tied to the social studies curriculum by 4 specific expectations in the Grade 2 Heritage and Identity, Changing Family and Community Traditions section. The specific expectations are A 3.1, identify and describe different types of families. A 3.2, identify some different groups in their community and describe some of the ways in which they contribute to diversity in Canada. A 3.4 describes some significant traditions and celebrations of their families, their peers, and their own communities, as well as of some other communities in Canada. And A 3.5 demonstrate an understanding of simple chronology by identifying and organizing chronologically some important events and people from multiple generations in their family and/or community. All of these specific expectations are exemplified when the student completes their task in the 5 pages. In the end, I would display their flipbooks either in the classroom or hallway for everyone to see. It is promoting how each one of us is different and unique in our own ways, but also showing how similar we can be too. The new 2018 revised social studies curriculum emphasizes the inquiry process and model that we have discussed before in class. In my teaching, I would like to emphasize all the inquiry skills in my teaching through the different lessons I bring forth. It is stated by the social studies curriculum that it's important to understand that the inquiry process and its investigations may not involve all 5 components, and that is okay. It depends on student readiness, prior knowledge, resources, and time. The components that I draw more to in the inquiry process are gathering and organizing and communication. I think that to be able to draw conclusions and evaluate, we need to be able to gather and organize our information first, which is important in any situation. Communication is also something I would emphasize on because it is such a big part in our everyday lives. Fostering communication between students helps them gain others' perspectives, thoughts, and ideas, and allows them to formulate an open mind. A task I may give a grade 2 class learning about changing family and community traditions might be to research a culture or religion of their choice different from their own. This can be done through resources such as books the teacher brings in or on a computer. The teacher will have a list of different cultures and religions to pick from for reference. Since this is a younger grade, requirements for this task would be simple. They would be asked to find 3 interesting facts and then talk about their findings with a partner. The component of gathering and organizing from the inquiry process is there when they do their research, and the communication component is there when they discuss their findings with their partner. The students may also formulate questions when communicating with their partner, which is also a part of the inquiry process. There are a lot of ways to incorporate inquiry in all grades and topics in social studies that give students the opportunity to develop stronger relationships with their classmates. It can also improve their communication skills and increase the confidence they have in their own ideas and ability to contribute in the classroom. In regards to social studies and inquiry, I look forward to more experience in the field of education and to bring forth my current knowledge to my future classrooms. Thanks for watching.